right, so let's start in a comfortable seated position. And starting to focus on your breath. And we're going to start off with a breathing practice. And so what I want you to do, you're going to breathe in a little bit, pause, and breathe in a little bit more, and then exhale. Right, so try that out. Breathe in, pause, breathe in a little bit more, but make sure you take a full breath, and then breathe out. And of course, if anything I offer you today doesn't work, please don't do it. Right? So if that feels uncomfortable, you feel a little antsy, just breathe regularly. Okay? So we're going to do that for a few more breaths. Inhale, pause, inhale some more, and exhale. And make sure as you're exhaling, you let all the air move out of your body. So there's no rushing about it. You're just breathing in, pausing, breathing in a little bit more so you get a full breath, breathing out. After your next exhale, just pause for a moment and let your breath go back to its normal rhythm. And notice how you feel, if you feel any differently or not. And notice how your body's feeling and think about how you want to feel when we're done with practice today. So you're setting your intention. And do that in whatever way works for you. And then when you're ready, we are going to stretch out our legs and find our tennis balls, because everybody wants to work on some aspect of the lower part of the body. Next time I'll leave the basket outside. And then you're going to put them in front, and most of you know this one, so your butt stays on the ground, right? And then you lift up a leg and just push that tennis ball into a place that feels comfortable. And then stretch out your legs a little bit. And then we're going to go front to back or side to side or both. And you might feel your hamstrings, like I can feel mine. I've been playing a lot more pickleball than running around on the court. And this is one, I mean, everything that I offer you, I don't want to hurt as we're doing it, right? And so notice if it hurts, take the tennis balls out, massage with your hands, or do something differently. And I know we've been doing this the last couple of weeks, but when you feel like you've had enough of that, you're going to take the tennis balls and pull them out a little bit so they're kind of more on the outer sides of the back of your thighs, and do that same thing. And you're still breathing this whole time. Don't stop breathing. Now again, and you can probably feel, like I can feel myself, like I move up a little bit and push into the tennis ball with the front of my sit bones as I am here, but it's an exploration, finding out what feels good and what works for your body. And we're going to take one out, and we're going to take one tennis ball out. And again, you're not going to put it right under the bone. You're going to put it in the center of your glute. So a lot of us, and I talk about this sometimes, store emotion and tension in our hips. And so, you might start off like placing the tennis ball in there and just barely moving your body over. Some of you might make your way over onto your side. But no, the more you lean over, the more pressure it's going to put. You have gravity and your body weight working here. But the idea is to get in towards the center of your glute and allow your body to soften. It's a gentle release, not a hammer. It's more of a, all right, somebody help me with the word. Not a hammer. Massage. Massage, yay, that works, yeah. And you could move around a little bit, you could stay in one spot. And sometimes I like to just breathe into it, and as you exhale, allowing your body to soften a little bit more. Now, when you feel like you've had enough, and I know we could stay here all day, we're going to move to the second side. And again, starting off slowly by just putting the tennis ball in the center of your glute and leaning into it, and seeing if you want to go any deeper, maybe taking your leg out, maybe coming over onto your side. No crying is allowed. Oh, unless it's like an emotional release. No crying from like the pain of the tennis ball. So again, you know, you might move around, you might settle, you're going to breathe and relax, and to the best of your ability. Because the last thing we want to do is create more of a, you know, trauma for your body by forcing anything on it. Now, again, when you start to feel done, we're gonna take those tennis balls, and again, butt stays on the ground, placing the tennis balls at the back of your pelvis, and then gently leaning into the tennis balls. I like to bend my knees here. Some of you could come down onto your elbows. That doesn't work for my body. And again, starting to move front to back or side to side with your knees, making sure, again, that it's something that feels okay. So, as I said, we could play with tennis balls all day, and someday we might just do that. But today we're going to do a little bit more. So we're going to set the tennis balls off to the side for now. Stretch out your right leg and bring that left foot in to your inner thigh. And two ways you can do this. It's going to depend on your body. You can keep your arms in line with your ears. Inhale up, exhale forward. But remembering that we're not coming forward with the head, you're coming with the heart. Or you can place your hand on your thigh, inhale body up, and exhale slide down. So just noticing, you know, and we keep the foot flexed so you keep your muscles engaged. Notice what happens. Like for me, I can definitely feel it in my hamstring, the back of the thigh as I'm moving forward. You know, but you're noticing what you feel. And one more time. And then we're going to bend that knee. And you're going to take your hands behind you, lean back a little bit, and we're going to take the left ankle and cross it over top. Right? And here, I just want you to wiggle that knee up and down, the bent knee that's lifted off the ground. You're just kind of noticing what's happening and how your body's feeling. Now, this is where it gets fun. Now, some of you may come onto your elbows, some of you may stay onto your hands. You're going to walk that heel in so it's close to your buttock. And we're going to attempt to lift our hips up off the ground. So inhale up, exhale down. And I know it's it doesn't necessarily look very graceful. We're going to do it one more time. And when you come down, we're going to straighten that leg. Okay, and you want to make sure, so, you know, we have this pokey part on your ankle. Make sure that's not poking into your thigh. You could also have your foot down by your ankle or any place in between. So you're finding that comfortable place. We're going to inhale, body up. Exhale, you're going to walk your hands down and grab onto wherever it's comfortable. Right, so it might be your foot, your knee, your ankle, wherever your hands come to. And you're going to breathe. Your hips.
What if it's comfortable with your hands behind you?
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Now, as you're here, I want want you to think about relaxing that left knee down, right? Or we're not pushing it with your hands or anything like that, but you're thinking about relaxing it down towards the ground. And for most humans, the knee is not going to come to the ground, right? That's not how we're made. All right, so on one of these inhales, we're gonna slide on up and uncross the legs and stretch out your left leg. We're gonna bring in the right foot, and again, flex that foot, and either hands on your thigh or up in line with your ears. Inhale up, exhale, come forward. So your hand at this, your foot at this point is on the inside of your thigh. We're gonna come back to where it's crossed over after we move through the different phases, right? And some of you might like to slide down the leg a few times and then bring your hands up in line with your ears, but you want to make sure as soon as we extend those arms, it pulls on the low back. And so you don't want to do anything that's going to overextend the back of the body. Okay, 2 more. And the next time that you come up is when we're going to bend that left leg and cross your right ankle over top, and we're just going to wiggle that knee front to back. And remember, if anything with you doesn't feel good, let me know. There's always a modification or something else that we can do. Now we're going to stop wiggling the knee, and again, coming down onto your elbows or staying on your hands. You're going to walk that heel in close to your buttock, and then inhale, lift up, exhale, come down. Keep breathing as you move. One more time. And then when you come down to the ground, we're going to stretch out that left leg, and you're going to keep the leg crossed on top of the leg, someplace that feels good, any place between the ankle and above the knee. Inhale, body up. Exhale, slide those hands down to a comfortable place. Keep breathing. And on your next inhale, let's slide on up, and we're going to uncross the legs. So now let's bend both of the knees, and your hands are behind you, either on your elbows or on your hands, and we're just going to move the knees side to side. Inhale, center, exhale as you bring the knees down to the side. So like for me, because some of you talked about biceps at the beginning of class, notice how your arms feel as you move your legs. I can feel sensation in my arms as I move them. Not that it hurts or anything like that. Next time you come through the center, let's make our way up. And we're going to make our way onto our hands and knees. So if you'd like to have a blanket under your knees, go ahead and do that. And most of what we're doing, if you can't for some reason be on your knees, you can do it on your back body. So be on the hands and knees, hands slightly in front of the shoulders, knees slightly behind the hips. Then I want you to engage your core. So sometimes when I say that, people are like, what does that mean? So what I'm saying is move. Use your abdominal muscles to help you not drop down into the center. Right? And then your vision is going to stay towards your hands. We're going to stretch out the right leg and turn your toes under and press that heel towards the ground. So you're stretching the back. Well, I'm stretching my calf right now. I can feel that. My ankle, the soleus, which is right underneath the calf, the lower part. You're breathing. Then we're going to switch sides. Stretch out your left leg. Again, toes turned under, reaching the heel towards the ground. And again, this is one of those places, if you're not comfortable on your hands, you could be on your elbows. Again, we're gonna take that knee in. And some of you might like blocks for this next part out in front to have your hands on. We're gonna stretch that right leg forward. And your hips are above your knees, so you're not sitting down on that back heel. So for some of us, we just bring that leg forward and you can feel the stretch, right? And we're gonna point and flex the foot, that front leg. And then we're gonna flex the foot, inhale, body up, exhale, take your body towards that leg. Moving with your breath, inhale is up, exhale is towards the leg. And then you may want to stay down towards your leg and hold the position, or you may want to continue to move up and down. So kind of decide what feels good for you and then go ahead and do that. And on an inhale, let's leave the body up. We're bringing the body up. We're gonna take the foot down onto the ground. And then you're gonna slide that back knee back a little bit so you're opening the front of the hip flexor, but we wanna make sure that front knee stays over the ankle. Everybody feel stretch there besides me? Okay. Now this one is a little bit interesting. We're gonna take the front foot and we're gonna turn it out. You're gonna take that block if you're using it, you're gonna make your way down onto your elbow. And we're gonna come onto the pinky toe side of that back leg and reach that hip towards the ground. So we're stretching the outside of the hip. Yes? Okay. All right, and then we're gonna make our way up onto the knee again. Bring that front foot forward. We're gonna step that leg back. And then bring your other leg, for me it's the left leg. You're gonna do the second side. And again, hips are over the knee and you're gonna point and flex the foot. And you're still breathing through all of this, right? And eventually we're going to come to a place where we keep the foot flexed and inhale the body up, exhale towards that leg. And again, on this one, you can choose to stay down towards your leg, or you can continue to inhale body up, exhale towards your leg. I always think it's interesting, you know, like kind of asking your body, what do you want right now? And seeing if you can hear the response. Now on an inhale, let's come on up and we'll take that front foot flat on the ground and slide your back knee back a little bit. So we're opening the front of the hip flexor. It's always another thing that's interesting to me when we talk about hip openers, you know, like we have different parts of our hip and some of us are tight in the front, some are tight in the back, some are tight on the side, some are tight all over, you know, so just breathing into what's ever happening for you. Now from here is our interesting one, right? You're going to take that front foot, turn it out, and then possibly coming down onto your block with the right arm, the opposite arm, and then lifting your knee up off the ground and then moving to the pinky toe side of your foot. You want to be careful when you do this because it's a little bit of a different twist. And some of you might have that knee off the ground, some of you might have it on the ground. But we're hoping to stretch the outside of the hip, although as I say that, there are other parts of my body talking to me as I do this. Continuing to breathe. Now very carefully, in your own time, when you're ready, we're going to turn that front foot forward, come up onto our knee, and then let's step that front foot back. How's everybody doing? Okay. All right. So here, and now for some of you, if being on your knees is a challenge, you could do this part standing up. Right? So if the knees are feeling uncomfortable, just come up onto your feet. And because what we're going to do, we're going to inhale one arm up, turn your head away from that arm, and exhale back to the center. So just inhaling the arm up, turn your head away from the arm, exhale, head to center, arm comes down. Just moving with your breath. And as you're moving, you're noticing, what's happening in your head as you move. How is your breath moving as you move? The next time you finish your second side, from here, we're going to turn those feet under. So you're on the backs of your toes. I'm going to show you something in just a second. And from here, I want you to bring your hands onto your hips, soften those shoulders away from your ears, and just think about from the top of your head, starting to come back just a little bit, so like a very baby camel pose. We're not really warmed up to do a full camel pose, but we're just stretching the front of the body, keeping the back of the body long, and you're going to do that same thing as you're standing up. Right? Just maybe take your hands onto your hips, soften the shoulders, and start to open the front body. And then let's come forward. And from here, if you're standing, you're going to slide down into a forward bend. If you're on your knees, you're going to come down towards child's pose. And you might keep your arms towards your body or extended or even wrapped around your legs. Right? You're finding that place that allows you to stretch your back body. And earlier, before class started, we were talking about transitions. And so after a few breaths, you're going to think about what's the safest way for you to get yourself onto your feet. And if you're standing on your inhale, you're going to slide on up. So we're going to all meet standing up. Find a tennis ball. I love tennis balls. And for just a moment, we're going to roll each of our feet out on tennis balls. And if you're in a place where you don't have tennis balls, there are lots of different things. You can try to scrunch a washcloth, and that helps with your feet. I don't suggest rolling on anything harder than a tennis ball, because tennis balls have some give, especially the ones I get because they're used. Not all of them though, some are used more than others. All right, we're going to switch feet. And those of you here, if you want to take tennis balls with you and you go home, you're welcome. I know. Some people have that dog issue. My dog's mouth isn't big enough, so tennis balls are very safe. Other things, maybe not. All right. So, and this is something I recommend, like if you can, that you do every day. And especially in the summer, because many of us are more active in the summer. But of course, I think we should do it year round, so I should just say that. All right, so we're gonna set those tennis balls off to the side. And let's make your way towards the front of your mat. And take a moment to connect with your breath. And you might even place your hands on your body. That feels good. So sometimes as we start to move, we let go of focusing on the breath, but I'm going to invite you to continue to breathe no matter what we're doing, okay? So once you feel that connection to your breath, we're going to release the hands and step your feet maybe as wide as your mat. And before we do this next move, let's inhale those shoulders up towards your ears, exhale, slide them down the back body. And then keeping your hands connected to your legs, we're going to inhale, body up, exhale, slide down towards your knee, inhale up, slide down the second side. And we're trying to keep our body in the same plane as our legs, so we're not falling forwards or backwards. And then you might start to slide that outside elbow up as you're coming over to the side. Again, only adding on if it feels good. And then possibly extending that outside arm overhead. The last move that you might choose to add on is to look up at that arm as you're sliding over. Again, only adding on if it feels like really inviting. One more time on each side. And we're going to pause for a moment after you finish that second side. Shake out your arms or roll through your shoulders. Then we're going to find a block. So we're going to take that block and hold it between our hands. And I want you to press on that block. So have your lower arms parallel to the floor, and you're just going to squeeze that block. Right? You're noticing, can you feel those muscles in your arms engage as you're pressing on that block? And then we're going to inhale with the block down here, and exhale, you're going to bring that block towards your head, of course, not hitting yourself in the face. Inhale down and exhale as you engage those muscles and pull that block towards your head. And I know some of you talked about your arms, so make sure that this isn't something that's instigating anything going on. Now, next time your block is down, we're going to start this with our feet flat on the ground, but some of you might add in coming onto your toes. So we're going to straighten the arms. We're still squeezing on the block. Inhale, you're going to take that block up overhead, then keeping your elbows towards your ears so we're not dropping them out. We're going to take the block behind our head. Inhale up, exhale down. Now, if you want to add in the toes, up onto your toes as you take that block overhead. Exhale, take the block back. Inhale, block up. Exhale, heels down, arms down. We're going to do it a few more times. And choosing what's appropriate for you on the toes or not. Moving your arms as deeply as it feels comfortable. With your breath, this will be our last time. So whenever you end your arms in front, we're going to take the block into one hand, shake out your arms again, do the wiggle bands. All right, one more thing with the block like this. Again, we're going to hold on to that block, and you're squeezing, right? So I actually have my elbows propping against my body. And then we're going to try to keep the block in the same plane and pivot. So inhale, center, exhale as you pivot to the side. And this would be one of those, we want to be really aware because we're twisting our body. And you want to make sure you're not over twisting, that everything feels comfortable even if there's a little stretch. So next time you finish that second side, we're going to pause for a moment and we can set that block down. And then bringing your hands onto your legs, inhale, body up, exhale, and you might bend your knees as we do this. You're going to slide down to whatever place is comfortable. Inhale up and exhale down. And next time you come down to the ground, we're going to bend our knees however much we need to get our hands down on the ground. So bend those knees if needed. You could also have blocks under your hands. And then I want you to relax your head and your shoulders. So see if you cannot prop your head up, just let your head down. And then again, if it's comfortable for you, I just want you to turn your head slowly from left to right. So we're taking the pressure of gravity, pushing our head down into our body by being forward. Just allowing your head to turn if appropriate for you. And then from here, again, you might like blocks under those hands, so you might want to keep your blocks towards the front of your mat. We're going to step back with your left foot. And again, so check out your position. You want your knee over your ankle to take the pressure off of your knee. And your toes are turned under, so you have a nice little stretch happening in the back of your body. You're breathing. Now let's step that back foot forward, and we're going to take the right foot back, same thing. And you want your feet hip width apart, right? Widthwise, about a leg's distance lengthwise. Front knee is over the ankle. And now from here, we're going to pivot our feet around. Let's go towards the window so you're all in the same direction. You might bring your blocks with you. So now you're in a wide angle on your mat and you're going to listen to what I'm saying, since I don't want you all having to turn your heads in an awkward way. And what I want you to do, you're just going to bend one knee over the foot and move side to side. Now, some of you might like to have your hands on the ground and walk your hands over as you're bending the knee, and some of you might like to keep your hands in the middle. Now from here, we're going to pause in the middle for a moment, and you might like to have your hand on a block or the floor. We're going to take the right hand onto the ground. And you're going to look at your left hand, and the inhale, you're going to start to bring that hand up and follow the hand with your eyes to a place that feels comfortable. And exhale, come down. We're going to stay on that one side. So you're just moving through your head and your left arm. Inhale up, exhale down. One more time. And when you come back to the center, we're going to switch hands. So now your left hand stays down, your vision is on your right hand. Inhale that right arm up, and the eyes are following, they're tracking your hand as you're moving, and you're moving with your breath. This will be our last time. And when we come to the center, I want you to bend your knees. Bring your hands onto your hips. Feel your feet on the ground, isometrically, feet pulling in towards one another. And inhale, let's come on up. Safely step your feet together. Sometimes when we're upside down like that for a while, get a little bit dizzy. And just noticing how you're feeling. Shake out your arms and your hands. We're going to interlace the fingers after you're done shaking and just roll through your wrists. times in each direction. Another thing I recommend doing whenever you think of it. All right, does everybody have a strap? Because from here, I want you to grab onto your strap. And what we're going to do, you're going to hold your strap, and if your strap's really long, you can double it up. We're going to hold the strap about shoulder distance apart, and then pull on it a little bit. And what I want you to try to connect with is engaging your core muscles or your side bodies or both as you're pulling on that strap. And then we're going to take the weight into the left foot and lift your right leg up off the ground. And you're going to pull on the strap if you feel yourself losing your balance, and you can also keep your foot on the ground. We're going to start to bend the knee and lift that knee up. And again, you could be coming up onto your toe and not lifting the foot off of the ground. We're going to take that foot down, relax your arms, roll through your shoulders. And then we're going to take the strap up, pull again, and again, at first, just lifting the foot off the ground, so exploring how you feel balanced on this side, and then possibly starting to lift that knee up. And if you lose your balance, tug on the strap a little bit more. It helps us to engage those core muscles, which help with balance. Most of us. We're going to take that foot down. Then we're going to take the strap behind us and maybe have it about shoulder distance apart. And I know some of you can connect your hands together, but we're going to use the strap to try to get a little bit more movement. So we're going to inhale those arms up, exhale, take them back down to the low back. Inhale up. And notice some of you might feel like your body wants to come forward, but we're going to keep it upright. Next time you come down to the low back, we're going to let it go. And for this next one, some of you might like to have your butt against a wall, and some of you might like to stay in the center of the room. We're going to make like cacti. Hands up. Now, one option, elbows together, forearms and palms, and you're pressing up towards the center, right? So this is like, if anything else that we do doesn't feel comfortable, you're going to come back to this place. Otherwise, you might try bringing your right elbow to center and stack your left elbow up on top. Maybe the backs of the hands come together, maybe the palms, and then lift those elbows up. All right, everybody's looking good so far. Without forcing it, send your breath into that upper part of the back body. Now we're going to sit like you're sitting into a chair. This is where some of you might like to have your butt against the wall, right? Okay, now I want you to find your balance, because we're going to possibly take that left leg and cross over top. And so sometimes when we're doing this, people say, which leg do you cross over? Well, it's just an A and a B if we change the legs, right? Like, so you can do it either way if you're practicing at home. Now you might keep that foot on the ground, you might lift it up, you might start to wrap it around your calf. Keep breathing. See, wouldn't the wall feel good against your butt right now? Now, we're on an inhale, we're going to let it all go. Stretch it out. So in this, and then shake it out a little bit. We get all crunched up and you're kind of building energy, and then we extend that energy out our limbs. So that's one of the points of the eagle pose, Garudasana. All right, take breath. Y'all did really great with that. That was good. Okay, second side. So again, we start off like cacti, and some of us can do one side and not the other, so know that that happens quite frequently. Okay, left elbow to center, right elbow over top. Maybe backs of the hands, maybe palms. And there are many ways to get into this pose. I just like to do it one step at a time. We're gonna sit back. So any of these places could be your pose, right? So you sit back and then you contemplate. Is today the day that my right foot wants to lift up and your standing leg stays bent and then possibly cross over? Keep breathing, and I know it's a little bit harder to focus when we have our hands in front of our face, but you find a non-moving spot to look at. Keep breathing, and when you feel full, your energy's all built up, on that inhale, let it go. Shake out your arms. That was really good. It's one of those poses that I don't often remember to teach. It's kind of fun. All right, one more thing. I just looked at the clock. I'm like, time flies when you're being an eagle. So what I want you to do before, and some of you again might grab onto a wall, we're just going to stretch the top of the foot. And keep breathing. And then the other one. And so now is the time where we're going to start to come to the floor. And so what's the safest way for you to get yourself down onto the floor, right? So we were kind of talking about this before we started today. So let's make our way, and I like to come through a squat a lot of times, and then I sit down from there. But there are lots of ways that you can get yourself down onto the ground. And then we're gonna have our feet off of our mat, okay? And I'm gonna show you a variety of ways to do this particular pose, but we have our feet off the mat because we want them to be able to slide. And we're going to start with our hands behind our body, and then you're going to bend your knees, and so we're kind of moving to the back of the sit bones. And then you're going to bring one knee in at a time. And again, for those of you that it might not be comfortable on your hands, you could have your elbows on blocks. You're just bringing that leg in and noticing how that feels. And next time you finish your second side, we're gonna stretch out those legs and stretch out the arms up overhead. Inhale's gonna be here. Exhale, we're gonna slide those heels in and our hands down. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, slide down. Now, some of you may want to take it a step further and lift your feet up off the ground. So inhale in our staff pose, Dandasana. Exhale into our modified boat pose. And it could be here. You could also keep your hands on the floor as you're sliding through your feet. And again, some of you might take your feet up, and for some of you, this is a brand new way to do this pose, and so just kind of exploring and seeing what feels good. But we're doing it as a vinyasa, as a flowing pose, moving from one pose to another. Some of you might even, I don't do this anymore, but you might come back and keep your legs straight and your eyes in line with your toes. That doesn't happen for me anymore. I know, nobody else thinks that for themselves either, right? All right, next time we're in our staff pose, we're gonna take those hands onto our legs. Inhale, body up, exhale, slide down. Inhale up, and exhale, slide. Is everybody okay after that? That was like your workout for the day. All right, from here, next time you inhale up, we're gonna make our way down onto our back body again. So another transition. So you might bend your knees and roll to your side, you might roll back, but find a way to get yourself onto your back body. I think we have time for one more pose that I wanted to do. So this is a a series of poses. Many of you have done it with me before. So we have our knees bent, our heels are fairly close to our buttocks so that we can lift our hips off the ground. Inhale, you're gonna lift your hips and your chest, take those arms up overhead. Exhale, hips come down and arms grab onto the front of the knees and you bring the knees in towards your chest. Inhale, legs up towards the sky, arms overhead. Exhale, knees into the chest. This is the big transition. Inhale, feet down, arms overhead, hips and chest come up. Exhale, hips down, knees into the chest. Inhale, legs up towards the sky, arms overhead. Exhale, knees into the chest. Inhale, feet down, arms overhead, hips and chest come up. This will be our last time. Exhale, knees into the chest. Inhale, legs up, arms overhead. And exhale, bring those knees into the chest, hold on to them, and you might roll in a circle or you might just hold on to them. All right, now from here, we're gonna do what we did early on. We're gonna take that left ankle and cross it over the right thigh, right? And I know some of you like to use your hands. I'm gonna invite you to not use your hands and let your muscles do the work. You're pressing with your leg muscles, the knee, the left knee away, the right thigh into your left ankle and left ankle into the thigh. Now, some of you from here might straighten out your leg, the right one. You might have a strap and put it on the padded part of your foot, or you might hold on to your foot. So this is the same position that we did on the ground at the very beginning of class. Anybody feel a little stretched? No comment? You're gonna keep breathing. And we're gonna release the strap or the foot, and we're gonna take the right foot onto the ground and stretch your arms out to the side. We're gonna try to keep our left knee pressing away. We're gonna inhale centered, exhale, bring that left foot towards the ground. So you're crossing over your body, and it may or may not come to the ground, right? So you might have a block underneath it. Now some of you might want to stay here, and some of you might like to move. Inhale, bring the knee up, exhale, come down towards the ground. On the next inhale, let's all meet in the center. We're gonna uncross our legs and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And again, possibly not using your hands here as the left foot is suspended in the air and left thigh pressing into right ankle, right knee pressing away. Some of you may choose to start to straighten your left leg, maybe with a strap, maybe using your hands, bringing that leg towards your body. Only moving in a way that feels really good. And gently releasing your foot or the strap and taking that left foot onto the ground, stretching your arms out to the sides. Still using your leg muscles, keeping that right knee away from your body. Inhale, foot is lifted. Exhale, you might start to bring that foot towards the ground. Again, you can have a block underneath there, you can stay there, or you can inhale, lift that leg, and exhale, bring the foot towards the ground. Now from here, next time we inhale again, let's meet in the center. We're gonna uncross our legs, and one more time, bring those knees in towards the body. You might hold on to them, you might move in a circular motion a couple times in each direction, or you might stay in the same place. And this is where I want you to ask your body if you need anything else before we make our way into Shavasana. Right, so you can check in, body, do you need anything else? You know, you need a little twist or stretch or a little happy baby, you know, whatever it is that sounds inviting. And then after you've done anything else your body needs, we're gonna make our way towards Shavasana. So remember, lots of different options for Shavasana. Sometimes after we've been moving and we stop, it gets a little chillier, so you might want a blanket over you. You might want some support under your knees or under your back body. If you need any bolsters or anything like that, let me know. I'm happy to get them for you. So what would feel really yummy and relaxing? And once you get yourself set up, you're asking your body, is there anything that would help you to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed, warmer? What would help you to be able to be totally present with your body and your breath? As your awareness starts to go back to your breath, body, taking a moment to notice how you're feeling, thinking about what movements would allow you to gently reawaken, moving your body in whatever way sounds most inviting. And when you find your way to a comfortable seated position, we're going to work with that same breath that we started with. And some of you might want to add in a second pause, but again, because we're working focused on the inhale, you don't want to do anything that's going to make you feel anxious. And when we focus on the inhale, because it brings up the energy, it can make you feel anxious. So, exhaling completely, inhaling, pause, inhaling a little bit more, pause, possibly inhale a third time, make sure you get a full breath, and then exhale. Inhale, pause, inhale, pause, possibly third inhale, pause, and exhale. And continue for 2 or 3 more breaths, depending on the length of your breath. And after your next exhale, allowing your eyes to be softened, possibly closed, hands in a comfortable position. And what's one thing, besides showing up at class today, what's one thing that you're going to do for yourself today to be in your body, to acknowledge your aliveness? If those words don't make sense to you, what's one thing you're going to do today to feel good? And when we have that thought, let's bring our hands to our heart center. We'll close with one Om today. So inhaling whenever you're ready. So I thank you all for being here, and I thank all of my teachers, past and present, which includes all of you. I feel like everybody in our life becomes our teacher in some way, and I acknowledge the lands that I live in. So thank you all again. Namaste.
Namaste.